Mercedes Love, and I'm a real estate agent with Better Homes and Gardens Metro Brokers here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been living in Atlanta all my life, born and raised. And yeah, I've been an agent for a couple of months now. It was something that I've always wanted to do since I was in high school, but things just happened where I wasn't able to do it, but I finally made the chance to get at it this year. So
No, that's good. At least you kind of knew what you wanted to do out of high school, because a lot of people
yeah.
don't know that. So, besides that, what are some of the activities that you're doing outside of work right now?
Right now I am working on my cosmetic line that I just launched Friday. It's called Sugarland Cosmetics, and we're basically a personal care company where we have sugar scrubs, and we're going to launch more products in the future. But right now we're just focusing on the sugar scrubs because that is mainly what people wanted.
Yeah, very interesting. Another thing I saw too on your Instagram is you have a top 10 things to do when selling one's home. Would you want to like maybe take us through what you do to help like a client sell their house and all that?
Yeah, so usually when I'm helping a client sell their home, I usually like to go see the house myself. Of course, just to see like what I'm getting myself into and how I could kind of help the client make better adjustments to the house, maybe if they need any. I like to provide them with a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. I'm not an appraiser, so I can't give them the market value for their house, but I can tell them like what other houses in their community are selling for. So I like to help them with those numbers. I also like to basically just tell them what to expect during the process. This really gives them a clear understanding of what we're going to go through, what to expect when we're dealing with closings and attorneys and with buyers, because sometimes buyers are going to renege. They're going to change their mind during the process. Lenders are going to kind of back out as well. They're not going to go through with it if they find anything wrong with the buyer. So I just like to prepare them for those kind of things and go from there. It's really different with each house and each seller, so you can't really say, oh, this is going to happen with each home. It's different. So.
Yeah, I get that. Is it usually an easy process, or is it, I guess it would range, right, with the variation of houses and stuff?
Yeah, it does range, but Metro Brokers, they are so helpful. They're going to make sure every single transaction goes as smoothly as possible. They're also helping me along the way, so we try to make it as smooth as possible.
Yeah, that's good. Another question we have is like, we noticed, can you tell us why hump day is your favorite day of the week?
Oh my gosh. I love hump day because Monday and Tuesday is like the busiest days for me. If I could show you my schedule, the list is like this long. So when I make it to Wednesday, I can just breathe, and I'm so happy to make it to Wednesday. Yeah, that's why it's just my favorite day of the week.
It's basically like everyone's Friday almost.
Yes.
Because everything's kind of done with, though. Another thing, you had an inspirational Instagram post, and the meaningful Mondays. What's the motivation behind this kind of content?
Well, before I got into real estate, I had a couple of family members they knew that my interest would be real estate in the long run. And they would always come up to me asking questions. And the main question I would get would be like, what is escrow? And at that time, I didn't know what escrow was, but I would immediately look it up to just make it seem like I knew what I was talking about. And so when I became an agent, I'm like, education is free. And if I could win everyone's trust by educating them, then I'm building my clientele easily through Instagram, So that's why Meaningful Mondays came about. I just want to educate people more than anything. I want them to be able to trust me and know that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Another thing is like, even with that being said, is that kind of one of the reasons you got into real estate, or what was the real push for you getting into real estate?
I wanted my own house out of high school, so
Oh,
I that was just the main thing, like getting out of my parents' house. I really just used to watch a lot of HGTV in high school, and I used to tell myself, like, I can do that. And so that was just the push for me.
okay. Some of our interviewees talked to us about membership they received in the past. Have you had a mentor throughout your journey so far? Someone like to look up to or guide you, kind of deal?
No.
Not really. You kind of just done it all yourself then?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So, even with that, how do you self promote? Like, how do you promote yourself then, just by yourself, or trying to promote your business?
I really just put myself out there. That's something that I'm still learning constantly each day. I've always been a quiet person. So each day I get out, I try to challenge myself to just talk to a stranger or introduce myself to someone just to let them know who I am. Making more Instagram posts. I've always been a private person, posting so much every single day. This is brand new for me. I would have never done that before real estate. So
Yeah.
this is all.
So you utilize social media as much as you can, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you use hashtags and stuff like that? Just like the small things? Yeah.
Yes. Because this advertising on social media is free. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's so many ways you can promote. So I'm always interested to hear what kind of ways people promote their business. Like some people run ads and stuff. So like there are methods of paying for it, but you can reach so many people. But I like asking because a lot of people, even nowadays, don't really rely on it too much because they might think it's a waste of time or it's ineffective because of how many people, like they see your ad or whatever, and then they just ignore it. Do you typically have like a high response rate for that? Or I guess it's hard to tell, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes, but then again, Instagram has great feedback when you do run an ad where they will let you know like who's coming from the ad versus who's been following you and who's just responding from following you. I do have good feedback as far as clicking links or who's coming to my profile versus who's just reading the post. So I'll run an ad some weeks and some weeks I won't. I'll just use the hashtags because most of the time the hashtags are drawing people in.
Yeah. That even with us, when we're promoting like the stuff like this, like the expert series, we're trying to use as many effective hashtags as possible. Like, and the hashtags are weird because you can't have those that are too vast or your stuff gets lost in it because they're like overused. So it takes a little time to look into it to find the right ones to promote like whatever you're doing. So, and another question is, what's the typical buying and selling process like for you and your clients?
So I haven't had a seller just yet, but buyers, I love buyers because they're so funny. You have those buyers who are really serious and they're on the same path as you. They're adamant about buying a home. And then you have those buyers who are a little bit scared and they're going to put their foot in the water and kind of play with you along the way. But usually we just go through the process of getting all of their financial information together. After we've obtained that, we're ready to go and start looking for a house. Once we close in on one, we put in an offer, and if the offer is accepted, we're heading to the closing table.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's really it can be a short process if you stay on your P's and Q's, but it can be a long drawn out process as well.